Hey guys, what's going on? Shadow of Nexus back here with another video, making an update on the Yuzu situation and the Nintendo lawsuit. And now we have the verdict. Yuzu has caved in and is required to pay $2.4 million to Nintendo. So here we go. So yeah, you can see right over here, you can go ahead and pause. I'm probably not going to read everything here, but it says that plaintiff Nintendo America and the Tropic Haze LLC defendant has basically hereby to consent in favor of judgment Nintendo to jointly move the court to end monetary relief, the sum of $2.4 million for favor of Nintendo against defendant. So yeah, that's it, guys. Also, Tropic Haze also developed another emulator, 3DS emulator, which I am not really a huge fan of this thing happening, to be honest. The 3DS is done. You can no longer buy 3DS games. I don't know why Nintendo feels that they need to shut down Citra, but they ended up doing it, and it's really unfortunate, to be honest. But yeah, like with the 3DS, you guys shut down the eShop and everything. Can't buy the games anymore. You have to get them through third parties. So yeah, but they just want they just want the company to go bankrupt, basically. So I mean, hey, really unfortunate here. I gotta say that like you had to have seen this coming, guys. You had to have seen this coming. There is no way that you guys thought that a small company like this would be able to defeat Nintendo in a lawsuit. And I know the whole Bleem Sony situation where technically Bleem technically won the lawsuit because like they said that it's not illegal, but then Sony, they bought Bleem and shut them down. So I mean, hey, didn't happen in this situation. They ended up caving in, but no, really, really unfortunate here. And then yeah, Yuzu, of course, shutting down the Nintendo Switch emulator again. I mean, anyone who did not expect this outcome here might be a little bit delusional. Now, my thoughts here is that Yuzu and Citra here. Well, actually, let's just mostly talk about Yuzu because I think that there is definitely a game preservation debate for Citra right now because I mean they shut down the eShop and everything like that. So yeah, in terms of game preservation, I gotta say that like it is very unfortunate that Citra has shut down because again, like I said, they already shut down the eShop and everything. You can no longer get the games. 3DS games are getting harder and harder to get. If you want to preserve the games and play them and that kind of stuff, like yeah, you should be going to an emulator at that point. Because I mean, my general rule is that if you have a console within the same console, or I'm sorry, you have an emulator within the same console generation, then it's a problem. But if that generation is already gone, then it is what it is. At that point, you're not going to be paying ridiculous amounts of money for 3DS games right now that are going they're going for insane amounts of money right now. So yeah, again, Citra shutting down, not really a huge fan of that. But let's go to Yuzu. Okay, Yuzu, according to Nintendo, Tears of the Kingdom was pirated 2 million times or a million times. Yeah, oh sorry, yeah, it's 1 million times. So yeah, we had illegal copies and stuff like that. Yuzu, they've said also that they're also against piracy and everything like that, and they've decided to cave in and say that they're ashamed of people pirating games and stuff like that. But look, guys, emulators really do get people to pirate games sometimes. Like that's just how it is. Unfortunately, it's just so easy to pirate these games and to play them, and like you'll be playing them at a better frame rates, better resolution than the actual Nintendo Switch. So I mean, there's that too. But again, here's the statement here from Bunny. Okay, let's just go over this real quick. So they're saying, hello Yuzu Citra fans, we write to inform you that Yuzu and Citra supports are discontinued. Yuzu and his team have always been against piracy. We started projects in good faith, out of passion for Nintendo and its consoles, not intending to cause them harm, but now we see that our projects can circumvent Nintendo's technological protection measures and allow users to play games outside of authorized hardware. They have led to extensive piracy, in particular been deeply disappointed when users have used their software to leak game content prior to its release and ruin the experience of legitimate fans and players. We have come to the decision that we cannot continue to allow this to occur. Piracy is never our intention. We believe that piracy of video games and video game consoles should end effective today. We are pulling our code repositories offline and discontinuing our Patreon accounts, Discord servers, and shutting down our websites. We hope that our actions will be a small step towards ending piracy. All right. I mean, unfortunately, this is just how it is, guys. I mean, piracy is just rampant online, especially through emulators and stuff like that. Especially for a console that is already out and still being sold on the market. Like I said, again, I don't really agree with Citra being shut down or anything like that. So there's one thing, guys. So what are my thoughts about this? Really, it's unfortunate for those people that do want to play their games at a higher frame rate, higher resolution, that I've already bought the game, ripped the game from their Nintendo Switch. It really is unfortunate because really in terms of game preservation, maybe in a couple years from now we're gonna be really hard pressed to see any Nintendo Switch games running on PC in the future, right? So we gotta be very careful of that when it comes to game preservation, that kind of stuff. It's, of course, it's not an excuse for piracy. It's not an excuse for piracy. There really is no excuse for piracy. But when it comes to it, I gotta say that, like, it is really unfortunate that this happened because of, like, the users that are stealing games and stuff like that. And also, yeah, you know, PC gamers, they definitely like to pirate games in particular. But really, guys, at the end of the day, we do have Ryujinx. So, I mean, Ryujinx seems to work just fine. Nintendo is not going after them for some reason. There was talks of the creator of Yuzu basically leaking games and stuff like that and telling people where to get ISOs and ROMs. I'm not too sure how true that is exactly, but there's been discussions about that. There's been other stuff saying that, like, oh, it's because Yuzu, they had a Patreon server making like $100,000 a month or something like that. So really, at the end of the day, guys, if you want to play a Nintendo Switch game, you're gonna have a Nintendo Switch. Or if you have the game already, you might be able to play on Ryujinx. But really, piracy is not an excuse, guys. Like, seriously, Nintendo, again, they're protecting their assets, their property, and their intellectual property. And it just really is unfortunate that Yuzu had to shut down here. It really is, because, you know, there's definitely a case for Yuzu, and there's definitely a case for other emulators and stuff like that, and especially when, in terms of game preservation and like other games, like, let's say, for example, I said in the last video, a game like Gotcha Force that, like, basically you have to pay like how much, like $500 in order just to play that game, or like Fire Emblem, you have to pay like $100, $150 just to play that game. Like, if you buy it on eBay, right? Nintendo's not really making any money from that. So, I mean, there's definitely a case to be made that, like, you shouldn't really need to pay that much money for that. And yeah, another thing is that will Nintendo go after Ryujinx next? Will they go after Dolphin? Will they go after Project 64? Will they go after Mupen 64? Will they go after, like, uh no cache GBA. Like, there's so many emulators, Nintendo emulators in particular, SNES 9X, all those older kind of emulators and stuff like that. Will Nintendo go after these as well? I really hope not. I mean, they're not really making any money from that stuff anymore. There are some games here and there that are on the Switch eShop, but the emulation is very bad usually when it comes to those games. So, again, is this going to lead to other companies like Sony or even Microsoft going after emulators as well? I don't know. Again, the future of emulation is definitely at risk here for sure, and it's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate that this stuff is happening because of people that pirate games and stuff like that. Again, there's definitely a case to be made if you own the game, making legal backups of the game and stuff like that, right? But in terms of piracy, that's a no-no, no-go, don't do it. It is wrong. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about the situation here. Nintendo, they're basically shutting down Yuzu here. They're trying to kill emulation, basically, because they did make them shut down Citra as well. I wasn't really too sure if Nintendo would go after Citra, because they don't really make any money off the 3DS anymore. But hey, Nintendo went after Citra, and I guess 3DS emulation is gonna die out too. I mean, if Nintendo wants to go after other emulators and stuff like that as well, they can. Like, it just really sets a scary precedent, because like, if you have a bunch of backups and stuff like that on the Switch or on the 3DS, you probably can't even play them anymore. Unless you have the Yuzu file. I mean, you can't download it very easily. I'm sure there's forks and archives and stuff like that, but yeah, again, really unfortunate situation, but it is what it is. You can't do anything in this situation. Nintendo, multi-billion-dollar company, going to definitely win this lawsuit here. Anybody who thought that the Tropic LLC was going to win this lawsuit, I'm not really too sure why you thought that, but hey, Nintendo won this lawsuit. It's not very good for gamers, to be honest. But again, people pirating Tears of the Kingdom, this is what happens, guys. When companies, they see something, when they're losing out money, then they start caring. So alright guys, that's going to be it for me for today. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know down in the comments down below, what do you guys think about this whole situation here? Are you sad that Yuzu is shutting down? Are you like happy that Nintendo won the lawsuit here because you're a Nintendo fanboy? Or are you just confused why Citra shut down? Because Nintendo's not making any money from that anymore. So yeah. Alright guys, until next time, have a good one. Peace.